Hey, what's up everybody? Jesse, Southern Reels Fishing, out in the shop today, hanging out on a very windy but beautiful day here in North Carolina. And in this video, I want to talk about transducer mounts for the new perspective mode. Now I have this one here that I built, and I did the other video about it. I'm sure you've seen it. If you follow this whole perspective thing on the Livescope, you've probably watched all the videos. But I built this for about $5, because Garmin didn't have their mount available yet. And it works great. I have it on my kayak, I have a copy of it on my boat, and it has got me out and it's caught fish and it's done a really good job. It basically rotates down like this. You grab this, you go into perspective mode, or you can go right back up. I mean, it works. But now that I've had it out on the water, I can tell you I have run into a couple issues with the design, something I kind of picked up on just noticing how it was set up when I did the initial build, and that mainly is dealing with current. Now when I go out fishing, I fish a lot of salt water, and the areas where I fish, there are pretty massive currents that I deal with. Not to mention the way that I use this, I troll along in my boat with like my big motor running at idle, scanning structure and stuff. It just makes it a very effective tool. And with this arm being mounted the way this is on here, hanging out so far like this away from the pole, that motion of the water almost triples the amount of force that this pole is experiencing, and also you yourself are experiencing up top, trying to point this thing where you want to go. And it's caused some issues, especially in my boat, to where I'm not really happy with it. And that's one of the things that I noticed at first, is why they have this bracket here so long. I know why they did it, is because when you have it mounted down in perspective mode and you rotate it back, it's to allow clearance where the cable comes into the back of the transducer here from your trolling motor shaft, basically, because this whole system is designed to go on a trolling motor. And honestly, I don't understand that, because if it's on a trolling motor and you're actually using the trolling motor, it's only looking wherever that motor is pointing, wherever you're trying to go, wherever it's scanning back and forth, spot locking you. In my opinion, you're not getting full use of this system unless you have it on a rotating solution that you can control independently and basically put it wherever you want it to look, which is why I come up with this pole here. And it works great, other than the additional force that this mount has added. So I got looking at it, and since I don't have the issue, with the cable clearance, because I have it on the bottom of this pole here, I can pretty much do whatever I want with the mount design, which is basically what I did. I've come up with another design. I think it's really good, and I'm gonna swap this out real quick so you can check it out. I'll be right back. All right, folks, I kind of got down here so you can see what I got a little bit better, but this is pretty much it. Really simple. And that's one of the main things that I always strive for when I build something, is to keep it simple, stupid. Basically, the simpler it is, the less that can go wrong with it. And and that was something I really wanted to do when I rethought my mount solution for this. It's basically just the same aluminum bar that I used in my other mount. I bent it into a U shape. The length of the bend across the bottom here is the same diameter as my pipe, or whatever mounting solution that you would have it on. And it uses the same mounting solution here with the little nylon washer, the stop nut and the stop rubber washer bolted straight to the transducer. It does allow it to rotate still. It pivots on this bolt here, which is just a 1/4 20 2-inch stainless steel bolt, a 1/4 20 nylock nut on there. And you pretty much adjust the tension of this portion, how it rotates, by how much you tighten the bolt. Very simple. But something that is also really nice about this setup is it's adjustable. So if you wanted to shoot very shallow flat, you can set it to where it's basically flat, like I do a lot of times, and you can shoot pretty much up into 1 foot of water on a shallow sand flat. Or if you're doing a little bit deeper structure, all you got to do is just tilt it a little bit more, like so, and you can look down into the channel of a creek or along the structure of a bridge or something like that. I mean, it's pretty much infinitely adjustable. And it's something I was doing before, adjusting the angle, but I was doing it by, tilting the pole like this. But unfortunately, when you do that and you rotate it to the side and you look, it's skewing those elements off of angle. So it's angling it down and it's kind of messing up the image, to where on this setup here, you just tilt the transducer to whatever angle you want and you can rotate it all the way around, and it keeps all of the elements perfectly flat, on a horizontal plane, basically, so you get a true reading of what's going on. But the thing that I like the most about this setup here is, as you see, it's in perspective mode right now. It's working, it's rotating. When I rotate this thing up like so, it's already in forward mode. I never have to rotate this on that other shaft. So basically all you gotta do is just fold it down. You're in perspective mode. Grab it, fold it up, you're in forward mode. That's simple. Now, when I designed this, I did have to put a little bit of an angle on this bottom bend right here. It's tilted this way just a hair, probably about 5 degrees or so to get the angles to work. And once I figured that out, you know, it works perfect. Actually, I'm hoping to take it out today and try it out. It's so easy. You got the adjustable angles like so, and then when you fold it right up, you're already in forward mode that quick. And plus, it being close to this pole, it's much less prone to be affected by current and everything. So this is going to be a lot more like the stock setup. Actually, maybe a little bit better because this is even closer than it was when it was stock. You know, and the same thing when you're down, you're going to be much less affected by the current because it's centered directly under the pole. I mean, it's just a better design in my opinion. Now, this only applies to pole mounts. This isn't going to work, of course, on a trolling motor. You know, the shaft would be going right through the center of the transducer, so it ain't going to work. But I'm never going to mount it on a trolling motor anyway, so this is like the perfect solution for me. You know, and I'm already building one of these for my boat as well. Of course, I have to build it to where it's wider because, you know, the setup on my boat is a lot beefier because it's longer and, you know, I use it to motor along and scan structure. But it's basically fixing it. I just think it is so cool that it worked out to where when you fold it up like that, it's already in forward mode. You can still rotate this if you want, just twist it like that, you know, and put it into down mode. But to be honest with you, I have never once used down scan mode on this Livescope, ever. I've always used forward scan. So to me, it's just, this is perfect because I don't ever have to rotate this. All I gotta do is swivel it up and down. All right, folks, here we are with kind of a top-down view so you can see the whole setup. And basically what I have is just one reference mark on here showing which way is the center of the perspective view. And I basically just squared off of the middle element in the transducer. So if you see here, there's 3 elements, the bottom one, the middle, and the top. And basically all I did is just square off of this middle one right here with a square. And that will give you the direction of the center of the view, basically, as far as I can understand it. That would make sense. So that's what I use as a reference mark to where the center of the perspective view is looking. And that's also how I index the marks up top here for, you know, knowing which way I'm looking basically. So at the top of the cap here, I have a mark that shows the center or direction of the perspective view when it's in perspective mode. And then when I rotate it up like this to forward mode, I have a separate mark up here that shows the center of the, or shows which direction the forward view is looking. And that's pretty much it. Just depending on whichever mode I'm in determines which mark that I use to know where I'm looking. So easy. Well, folks, that's about it. That's pretty much my new design that I got. If you have any questions or comments, you know, hit me up below in the comments section. If you'd like me to do a build video for this, I'll be glad to, honestly, even though it's very similar, all the same components to the original video that I did for the arm that's kind of stock configured, other than just drilling, you know, the hole through the middle of the shaft and using a different bolt. I did want to say though that to get the angles bent this sharp, I had to heat the aluminum with a torch, just one of those yellow MAP gas torches from Lowe's. But yeah, that's pretty much it. It solved the issue with the current situation. You know, this should actually be better than what the stock setup was, I believe. Now, I have seen a lot of 3D printed brackets popping up out there. I kind of shy away from them because the 3D printed material is inherently weak. It's not as strong as something that's like injection molded, you know, plastic, just because of the laminating process, the way the layers are laid. It'll be strong in 2 directions, but weak in the other just because of how the layers are stacked. So, and actually my buddy Chris, he bought one for his kayak, put it on, looked awesome, and he said it broke within the first 10 minutes, snapped right off, you know, because he was trolling along with it deployed. I'm not saying they're all bad, but I would just much rather have something made out of metal because this is never going to break. But anyway, that's pretty much it. If you have any questions, hit me up, like, subscribe, and peace out. See you next time.